And we're live.
Right.
What's up, everybody?
We made it.
We made it. I'm here with Katie and David, and we are talking about the CrossFit Open today.
Woo.
What is the CrossFit Open?
It's exciting. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So exciting.
So what? Yeah, David. What's the Open to you, David?
So the Open is coming up soon, starting the last week of February. I believe the official first day is February 22nd, right?
Yep.
And it's a yearly event run by CrossFit HQ. Basically what it is, it's 5 weeks of very interesting, sometimes incredibly difficult, challenging, unique types of workouts. And the workouts are, there's one a week. They're announced Thursday nights, and they're a secret. They're kept secret. CrossFit HQ holds on to them, and then they'll release them on that Thursday night. And then everyone who wants to participate in the workout can, if they want to. They can do the workout that's posted, and then literally every other CrossFit person in the world who wants to do this workout will be doing it over that weekend between Thursday night and Monday morning. Because there's like a deadline for submitting scores. So it's cool because it's this global event where you're doing the same thing as people in other countries and time zones and locations. And maybe you have friends who are living in another state or on the other side of the country or on the other side of the world, and you get to do the same thing together. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think the most important thing to me about the Open is just the idea that it's something that everybody's doing all at the same time, or everyone who's doing CrossFit is doing this one thing each week, and it's sort of what every CrossFitter kind of has in common. You can go to another gym on the other side of the world and be like, oh man, you remember 18.3? And you'd be like, oh gosh, I can't believe... so I think that's kind of cool. What's the Open mean to you, Katie?
I look at it as that precursor to the games. So it's the Open and then the regionals and then the games. And it's this opportunity to sort of do the same workouts that these elite CrossFit athletes are doing and see how you compare, that workout that takes me 45 minutes to complete. I'm sure one of the daughters is doing it in 12 minutes with no problem, barely breaking a sweat. But that's kind of fun to see, just like this insane level of fitness. And then you can also compare your scores to other people. When you sign up and you put your score in, there's lots of ways you can adjust that. You can see how you stack up with people in the gym. You can see how you stack up in your region, in the world, amongst your age range, amongst your gender, and break that up that way. So it's just a fun way to see kind of where you are fitness-wise with all these other CrossFitters across the world.
Yeah, and I guess that's a good point. I guess in the most literal sense, the games is the first step, or the CrossFit Open, rather, is the first step on the road to the CrossFit Games. And so if you were a Matt Fraser, Annie Thor's daughter type person, you would do the Open, and then you'd finish in the top 20, top 12. Anyway, people who finish really, really high up in the Open, they take the top so many people and they compete in the regional competition. The regional competition sometime in March, April.
Between April and May, I think, usually.
Yeah, time frame. So then you'll do the big weekend regional competition, and then the top 2 people from each region go to the CrossFit Games. And so this is kind of the start of the weeding out process to get down to the fittest on earth. And it started to win back in 2006, 2005, 2000. I think the Open started in 2009. But anyway, back in the day, it was just everyone who was doing CrossFit, which was 80 people, showed up to the Greg Glassman ranch, and then he just threw together 5 or 6 workouts and then crowned the fittest person on earth. And so obviously with the growth of CrossFit, the growth of the games has just gotten crazy. And so the Open is the start of that. And it's really interesting, Katie, that you took the perspective you take on why you like the Open, because I would imagine, myself included, it's a bit demoralizing possibly to just see how easy people can do the workouts that you struggle so hard with. or maybe not that they do it easy, but how they
destroy it.
Yeah.
I think of it as goals.
Yeah.
You know, someday I will do 35 double unders within 10 seconds and then throw a 65-pound snatch like it weighs nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I sort of see I see high level, top tier CrossFit athletes not even as real people, just as amazing testaments to what the human body can do and what it's capable of. And yeah, you're right. I guess in a lot of ways I do look at it as an inspirational thing. I mean, I don't actually lose sleep over the fact that Matt Fraser can crush me. It's kind of a given.
Wake up.
But yeah, I think that's an interesting perspective about, you know, how to look at the Open. How long have you guys been doing the Open?
I think 2015 was the first year I actually signed up and did it. 2013, maybe. Well, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But there was a year before I moved to DC. I remember going to the box and hanging out while other people did it. Like some friends of mine were doing it, and they said, "Come and watch and hang out. There's beer." And I said, "Great." And I just remember sitting and drinking a beer and watching people do these workouts and looking online to see what the workouts were and just thinking, I feel like that was the year there were like 100-pound snatches for ladies, and I was really new to CrossFit, and I was like, oh, okay, this is not for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. When how many Opens have you done, David?
So I started CrossFit in 2013, and I started like in the end of January. So I was just getting through like the on-ramping process and getting into the first couple classes right when the Open in 2013 started. So I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know enough about any movements, but I remember going and like, I think I probably did, not that I signed up for it, but they were running it in the classes. Right. So I think I maybe had done one or two of those workouts back in 2013, but I can't recall any of them. Yeah. But the first time I really signed up and went for it was 2014, and then 2015. And I would have done 2016, but that was, I got an injury in February, right before the Open. So that kind of took me out of it. Or no, it was 2015 that I got hurt. Right. But I ended up doing most of the workouts anyway because I was like okay enough to get through some of the workouts. But 2016 was the year I was kind of taking off. Yeah. That was right actually when I came to Old City.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Cool.
And then I did 2017 last year. Yeah. Which those were some fun workouts. Except for the first one.
Yeah, I did the first ever Open in Coronado, California. I did the first ever one. Then I took a few years off. I checked back in on the Open in, I think, 2011, 2012 timeframe. And then I took a few years off. But I'm back, baby. I'm signing up. I'm doing it this year. I'm really, really excited. Let's go back through a more detailed description of kind of the logistics of how the Open works. So the week starts when? February
22nd.
22nd.
The Thursday.
So on Thursday, February 22nd at 8 p.m., 9 p.m.?
It's like 7 to 7:30, 7 to 8 o'clock is when they do the announcements, I think.
I feel like it might be 8 because like last year I remember I had class from like 6:30 to 7:30 and I would run home and I would be cooking dinner with the iPad on, like, what's he talking about? What's he saying? Yeah. He's writing something and I can't see it because I'm cooking.
We'd be finishing the last class on Thursday night and trying to have it running in the background.
So I think it's 5 Pacific and then 8 Eastern. The workout gets announced. Nobody knows what the workout is, and it's a big secret. And then that Thursday, the first one will be announced on February 22nd. Dave Castro will come out, and I think they have matchups with some of the top-tier CrossFit athletes, and they announce the workout. And then you see the misery and the pain that's to come, or the opportunity to crush that's to come. And in every year in the Open, there's always some new type movements and some interesting challenges. There's kind of always a curveball, whether it be a change in the way we do handstand push-ups or a change in muscle up stuff. But the workout gets announced on Thursday, and then you have until Monday night. You have until Monday night to do the workout. and then you get judged and you get graded, and we'll talk about some of that here in a little bit. But you submit your score online and you post it, and then the score gets validated by one of us, and then it gets, once Monday night happens, then everyone's updated in the whole system, and then you can go and you can sort of compare, just like Katie was talking about before. You can look at the best times in the world. You can look at the best times in DC. I think you can even narrow it down to within a certain radius of where you are. I remember making that radius very, very, very small and still not being fit. And then that happens each week for 5 consecutive weeks. So the next Thursday comes and goes, and the same thing happens. A new workout, and that one drops, and then another one, and then another one, and then for 5 whole weeks. And the goal of those 5 weeks is to sort of do what CrossFit does, test a lot of different time domains. So there's going to be some workouts that are kind of short, 6-7 minutes. Think, a lot more of a sprint type workout. There's going to be some workouts that are super long, 20-25 minutes. There's going to be all different types of movements. There's going to be different weights going from heavy to light to building to heavy, and everything in between. So it's a really great way to test yourself and see where you're at.
Yeah, there'll be some gymnastic movements in there too, so don't forget those. Those are important.
And so there's recently, as of probably 2 or 3 years ago, they started to release a scale division. And I think this is really awesome. So there are a lot of different ways that you can compete. There's the RX division. So if you're in the gym day in and day out, and you do RX basically every time you come in the gym, and this would be you should do RX. The RX weights, pretty heavy. You're going to see things like handstand push-ups, like muscle-ups, toes to bar, obviously. And then you're going to see weights get pretty heavy. Typically the way it's been in the past for everybody, but the RX is kind of what we're talking about now, is you might see some sort of ladder of snatch or something where the weight goes higher and higher, and it's not extremely ridiculously heavy until late in the workout anyway. So you'll find yourself maybe doing deadlifts at 225 and then maybe some box jumps, deadlifts at 275 and then box jumps, deadlifts at 315 and then box jumps. And then if you make it deep in the workout, then maybe there'll be 450-pound deadlifts, but it's not till the end of the workout. I haven't seen an open workout yet where they start off with, all right, 225-pound squat snatch. That's rep 1.
The heaviest on the cleans, at least I've seen, is 185.
As
185 cleans. I think they were power cleans too, not even squat cleans. That was 2015.
Yeah. So that's the RX. RX is pretty aggressive, and if you're doing RX work in the gym consistently, you should definitely challenge yourself and do RX in the CrossFit Games.
And that being said, too, sometimes, and this is part of the interesting thing about the Open is, yes, definitely to what Sean just said, absolutely right. The RX weights in the Open will match up pretty well if you consistently do RX in the gym. But there are times, and this is where having the coaching staff around can help you when you're there. Sometimes it might be good to try an RX workout if you feel like maybe you're on that edge of the workout. For example, we had a member, Mary Beth. Remember Mary Beth? She had basically just joined before last year's Open, and in 17.1, which I'm sure people who've done it remember, the 50-pound dumbbell snatches, or 35-pound for the ladies, the dumbbell snatches and the burpee box jumps. And she came up to me before the workout, and she was pretty nervous about it. She's like, I don't know, should I do the RX or should I do the scale? And I had seen her moving in class. Granted, she's still fairly new, but I felt confident that she should at least try it, because the worst thing that happens is you try it, it's too heavy, and so you don't do that much of it, and then fine, so you've learned something. But she did it, and I'm pretty sure she had the best time for women.
Yeah, she was one of the only women that finished.
Yeah.
She crushed that workout.
And I mean, granted, she wasn't brand new to CrossFit, but she hadn't really been doing CrossFit that much.
Yeah.
And so it was just, and then she felt so satisfied
Right.
that I had pushed her, that she made the effort to do it, and not only that, but she crushed it as far as like our gym space.
Yeah.
And also, it's important to note that you don't have to pick one and do it all the way through.
That's a good point.
It's workout by workout. So the first year that I did the Open, I picked and choosed. That's not a word, but I'm going to stick with it. But I did, like, I pushed myself. There was one workout that had toes to bar and double unders, and I think you had, I don't remember, but there was a limited amount of time, and I think it took me it was like 8 minutes or something, and I think it was 25 toes to bar, and I got 10 because I had so many no reps, but I had like just gotten toes to bar, and so I was like, I'm gonna do the RX because I want to push myself to figure out toes to bar.
Right.
And so I was super happy that I didn't even get to the rest of the workout.
That's awesome.
Because but I had gotten 10 clean actual toes to bar reps, and that was awesome. And then there were other workouts where I looked at the weight and said, no, I got to do the scaled one for that. And then last year my goal was to do all of them RX no matter what, and that's what I ended up doing. And so again, my scores weren't great, but I was just at the end I said, I'd done all 5 workouts at RX and at least gotten a few reps of all of those. So that was really great.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good distinction with the scaled. So if you're looking at how CrossFit scores it, if you do 1 rep RX, you score higher than the best scaled score.
Didn't used to be that way. The first year they didn't do that.
Yeah.
They fixed it, though. Because that made me pretty upset 2015. A bunch of people scored higher than me, and they had a bunch of scaleds in their overall thing, and I was just like, really, guys?
I didn't know that.
I did them all. Yeah, they messed up pretty bad 2015 with the scaling, but they fixed it since then.
So if you can, I think the most important thing about the Open is the idea. I mean, honestly, none of us are going to the games unless we're spectators. So I think the coolest thing is finding the right challenge for you. If your challenge is doing the workout RX and getting into the workout and then reaching some challenges within the workout, that's great. But if if the workout starts with bar muscle ups and you don't have bar muscle ups, well, it's kind of silly for you just to stand there and look at the bar for 8 minutes. So yeah, absolutely. Just like David was saying, once the workouts start coming out, talk with your coaches and figure out what the right option is for you. But the Open is a time to go for it. Like, get after it. Really push yourself. Try weights in a workout that you don't typically try, and just measure yourself week in and week out. And I really like how it goes for 5 weeks, because it's just long enough to feel like a grind, so that when it's over, you are so excited it's over. But it's also not just 1 weekend where you muster up a bunch of motivation and knock it out of the park for 1 weekend.
Right.
So it tests a little bit of consistency, a little bit of longevity, and yeah, I think it's a ton of fun to watch, and I'm excited to participate.
Yeah, and to Sean's other point about sort of measuring yourself too, one feature of the Open is they will always repeat one workout from a previous year. So they'll take a workout that maybe a lot of people publicly did not like, or maybe overall not so great scoring wise, and then they'll try to bring that back so that people can see if they've they can test themselves to see if they've gotten better on that set of movements or weights or something again. So 17.43. I think it was 17.3 was a workout from 2016. It was the 55 workout.
Yeah.
And so they'll repeat. So you get a chance, if you've done it 1 year, definitely at some point you'll have that workout and you go, I remember that workout. And you can literally go and check. If you uploaded your scores, you can pull up your account and see your score from last year or from 2 years ago. And then, even then, like, we did a workout from, we did 11.2 a few weeks back, and we had Ken there, and he's like, oh yeah, I did that when I was in the Open, and he'd go and pull up his score from 2011. Now it's 2018, and he could see his score and compare himself from 7 years ago. So that, it's a record. It's there, and you might have a chance to do it again, even if you just feel like doing it on your own. And other categories that they have for the Open. So they have a teenagers division, and I think the teens are broken down.
I don't know, 15 to 18, something like that. And then I think there's a 13, 14, and maybe there's an under 13. I'm not 100% sure on the teen breakdown. But there's also masters age groups as well. I'm officially a master this CrossFit season.
Congratulations.
Super excited.
Yeah, because it's over 35 now.
Yeah, what? And then, so I think there's various divisions of masters divisions as the ages go up.
Yeah, there's I think they split it up because the masters is this, you usually do the same weight until you hit 50. And then it's I think it's 50 or 55 and over, then have a slightly
your scores are
workout.
grouped into the 18 to 30
Right.
range.
Yeah, so
Youngins.
So that's kind of the logistics of the Open. That's what the Open is all about. I know that we as coaches get a lot of questions that go something like this. Is the Open for me? Should I do the Open? What do you think about the Open? And should I do the Open? I don't know if I'm good enough to do the Open. What say you, Katie?
I say the Open is for everyone. There is no good enough to do the Open. That's the point behind it, is that it's for everyone. And that, like we said, there's the scaled versions of things. And there is that Open magic that happens, where people get a PR or a new skill suddenly because they're in that moment of people are cheering and the adrenaline's running and the music is loud and it's, just sort of out of the ordinary and it's crazy, and people push themselves and get, that extra special score. Not every week, but, it happens, and that's what's pretty fun about it.
A lot of stories of people getting their first ring muscle up in the Open, their first bar muscle up in the Open.
A lot of PRs.
I PR'd on the squat snatch workout last year. I think that was the second or fourth one. I PR'd on my squat snatch because it was a weight that I had only maybe gotten once, and I got 3 reps, and I was like, yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So it does, it's real. Open magic is definitely real.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think back, my words, I can't talk today. When I was swimming in college, you could never replicate a race, like a meet scenario in practice. Like I could never swim.
Adrenaline, the excitement.
Just all the factors, right? Like it would be in the same pool. It would be a home meet. It would be in our home pool, and I would be the same person. It'd be the same thing. I would be as fresh, and we would do race pace stuff, and it would always be a little slower. A second here, 2 seconds there. I could never, just for whatever reason. But when you put all of this stuff together, the starting blocks, the touch pads, the racing suit, the cap, the goggles, the adrenaline, all these things, when the spectacle is there, then you rise to your best self. And I think that's what's so awesome about the Open, is because we all do CrossFit as part of our day in and day out grind. We wake up, we go to the gym, we work, we go to the gym, we do all these things, and we show up and we grind out the workouts. And there's days where we feel great. Everything's on fire. We got good sleep. We're eating really well. We come in and we just crush it, right? But imagine putting more focus on that workout and sort of creating that competition type feel and environment, and getting a bunch of people around cheering for you. And every time you look at that bar, maybe you would walk to the chalk bucket. In the Open, you walk back to the bar and you pick it up. And so I love watching how much deeper people get into their own comfort with CrossFit and with workouts, and how hard people learn to push themselves. And really, I just love seeing those moments at the end of the workout where somebody didn't think they could do another rep and they end up doing 5 more reps. And then afterwards, you just see for the whole next year, and basically from then on out, you just see them as a whole new person, really, because now they've tapped into this new mental consciousness. And then they get to explore all of the great things that come from knowing how to push your body further and further. So that's honestly, if for that alone, you should sign up for the Open.
Yeah, and I agree. The Open is 100%. It's for everyone. There's no requirement. There's no prerequisite besides just knowing the movements. Like if you've been there and you've learned most of the movements, the Open's for you. That being said, the workouts are hard, and all of our CrossFit workouts are, by and large, hard, but if you're not ready to try and push yourself through a bit, if you're just coming in to I'll just do it and I don't really care about it, I would say try to change the way you think about that a little bit. Come into it very open, if you were, but with a very open mind and a very open heart, that you're gonna really try to improve yourself, because that's the whole point. That's what we do in the gym every day, but it really does take itself to a different level during the open workout. So be ready, mentally prepare yourself for a workout that's going to kick you in the ass 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and it's a good point. The open workouts are definitely challenging, but they're not appreciably more challenging than what you typically see in the gym. The weights might be a little higher, the movement standards are definitely more strict, so that's a point that we didn't fully talk about. Another good reason for the open is that there's going to be a judge watching every single rep. And so when a coach walks by in a normal class and's like, "Hey, get a little deeper," you're going to have a judge in the workout going, "No rep. That one didn't count. You're only at 3." And so just the focus on movement quality and attention to movement precision is really important. Like with the wall balls, for example, they have to come up, they have to hit the wall in a certain spot and come back down. And there's just a lot of little details that you can then carry over to hold yourself to a higher standard in the year to come after the open.
Yeah. So when you sign up for the open, you're signing up to get your reps looked at. And so every athlete has that judge right next to them who's counting all of your, so you don't even have to keep track. Usually in the gym we're like, keep track of your own rounds, and at the end of the workout we'll ask you what your score is. You have a judge that will score you. And so, if you've done Karen, 150 wall balls, there might be a point where you get a little tired, and maybe there was one that wasn't great, and it. Maybe you said it's fine, I'll just count it. I've done it. I'll totally admit to that. It's 150, but there is just something to be said about somebody watching and saying no rep. You didn't squat all the way. You didn't get all the way up there. That makes you push yourself a little bit harder. So even though it's the same movements that we see, there is that also that somebody else is holding you accountable. Because same thing, the judge or the coach walks around and maybe they turn their back and you're like, well, that wasn't a great rep, but you might count it. And again, that stuff happens in the gym, and I'm not...
it's a normal part of training.
Yeah, I mean, if you know you're doing terrible reps all the time, maybe you need an attitude adjustment. But but having that person there, absolutely counting every single thing is intense.
Yeah, and there's two ways to look at that. Also, it's I don't want somebody judging me and telling me no. But really, CrossFit is such a uniquely individual pursuit. Everybody who does it, it doesn't matter if, Liam's working out next to you, or it doesn't matter. You're here for yourself. You're here to make yourself better, more fit. This is the challenge that you've selected to really grow and to learn about yourself in life and outside of life, in the gym and outside the gym. It kind of goes back to what I was just saying. If you are not consistently trying to get to those standards in your training, if you're I know, and if you're I know these are terrible reps, but it's okay, I'm going to put more weight on the bar, and you're not limited by some other factor, then I would say take a step back. What are you doing in the gym? What's happening? Why are you cheating yourself? Exactly.
Especially if you're I'm not interested in competing, because there's maybe you were I wanted to get the fastest score on the board, so I cheated every rep. Right. And it's who's gonna be impressed by that?
Yeah.
Maybe somebody who didn't see you work out.
I had a guy at my last box who was like that. He would do he would do burpees where he would barely come off the ground, kind of thing.
Yeah,
just lots of little shortcut things that you wouldn't even get away with at a local competition. For
no one's counting your reps in the workout. So if you want to cheat, just do less reps with perfect movement quality. Then no one's going to know. If we're going to talk about cheating, let's talk about how to do it the right way.
Well, we've had those athletes before, and everyone figures it out eventually.
Of course,
so,
but it's
and then I'm less than impressed.
Yeah, for
Even
sure.
if you're look at these clean reps I'm doing, but look at my score, and I'm
Yeah, and we work out to make ourselves better, and it's about learning. Because I think often when we see people not doing correct movement quality in the gym, giving people the benefit of the doubt, it's because they don't fully understand what it means to be a good quality rep. So nothing makes you learn what a good quality rep is faster than being no repped once or twice. You look at the judge and you're like, what the? And they're like, that's not a squat clean.
Right.
Sorry,
right.
Not a squat clean.
And I think the other thing that happens too is for people who come in often is that you kind of get in the routine of coming in. You might see the same coaches or you see the same people, and you end up kind of going through the motions per se. And then you might forget really what are those really high movement standards where the coaches are reminding you, hey, this is what we're doing today, and they'll remind you during the workout. But by and large, a coach isn't going to stop and start no-repping you unless you're doing something really heinous during a workout. But in the open, the judge is going to stop you and is going to make you do it again.
Yeah.
So it's a good time to sort of mentally reset your perception about how you execute movements.
Yeah, and I think this will be a perfect transition because all of this doom and gloom about judgment standards and how hard it is and how tough the open is and all these things. Honestly, and most importantly, the open is just absolutely, legitimately fun. It's fun. It is fun to be with your friends in the gym and to watch them push themselves and watch them get through hurdles. It's fun to be challenged and overcome the challenge. It's fun to be frustrated one week and then excited the next week. It's fun to have expectations around a workout and then see the workout and crush it. It's fun to talk to your other friends who are doing CrossFit about how they did in the open. It's just a fun experience. It's a fun experience that we all get to share once per year. And if nothing else, it forces you to do at least 5 workouts in 5 weeks. So if you need motivation to get in the gym a little more, this will guarantee you're in the gym 5 really good workouts.
Yeah. And even if you don't sign up, which, I mean, at this point, there's really no reason why you shouldn't, but if for some reason you do decide not to, we'll still be running the open workouts during the classes on the Friday and Saturday as well.
Yeah, so we'll get into that.
I don't think Saturday. Just the Friday workouts will be open.
Okay.
The open workouts.
Okay.
So the way in the gym it'll work. So if you're doing the open at Old City CrossFit, then the way it's going to work is when the announcement, like we've planned the programming we just leave Friday blank, and whatever the open workout is, we put it on Friday. So if we do our Thursday workout, since we don't know what the open workout's going to be, if our Thursday workout is a ton of thrusters and then thrusters show up on Friday.
Sorry. And that happened last year.
Jen Jacobs, a.k.a. Nostradamus, last year. Every Monday workout was the same exact movements from the open workout on Friday. I don't know how she did it, Jen. I don't know how she did that.
It's impressive. So we're going to be doing the open in the class. Now that, if you don't sign up for the open and you just show up to class on a Friday, you're going to do the open workout anyway. And if you don't, you won't be judged. Same class experience as you always get at Old City.
Yeah, it'll just be like a regular workout. It'll just be that it's this crazy open workout.
We'll have the scaled,
everything just like a normal workout. Instead of creating our own programming for that day, we're just going to use the programming that Dave Castro comes up with for the CrossFit Open on the Friday each week during the open. And then Friday night, 8 p.m., Friday Night Lights. Everyone who signed up for the open who can make it during that time is going to show up, and we're going to run a big
You mean
event.
everybody who signed up for the open?
Everyone who signed up for the open. We have record on our Facebook poll. We have record of all the people who said that they could make it on Friday nights at 8 p.m.
All 50 of you.
Yes.
There's only 10 people signed up so far,
right.
So all those people who voted and
Better
to push it differently.
Sign up.
So Friday night, 8 p.m., we're gonna put on a big event, and we're gonna run heats of the open until we run out of people to run heats with. And each week we're gonna have little matchups. We're kind of working through what those matchups look like, but there'll be a week of AM versus PM. Coaches versus members, girls versus boys. We're gonna do a bunch of different fun kind of matchups just to kind of I don't know, have some fun with it. And then if you're not involved in the open but you just want to come by and hang out, come to the gym, cheer on your fellow athletes, show up, bring your families to cheer you on. I think that's really, really cool. And another good thing that we didn't talk about with the open, another cool thing about it is you're in the gym getting strong, getting fit, setting, like literally setting an example for your family if you have a family, or just living a strong life that you want. Now's a great opportunity to invite people in to kind of show off what you're able to do. I mean, if you have kids, I would be shocked if it's not amazing to have your little 5-year-old, 6-year-old there watching you do squat cleans or something really badass and awesome. So Friday Night Lights is the opportunity to show off and just have a great time and really, really push yourself. And it's going to be every Friday during the Open. Anything to add about Friday Night Lights?
Come in and get hype. That's about it.
Yeah, and then when you sign up for the Open, we're going to have a mailing list, and then logistics and stuff for each day will be kind of sent out and posted. And Katie is our point of contact for the Open, and she'll be creating heats and sort of giving you a rough idea of when workout times start. And everyone's going to have a judge, and all of these things are going to be sorted out frantically Thursday night when we learn of the workout.
Yeah, and that said, I get a few questions like, well, I'm going to be out of town one of those weekends, and we can make that work. So if you're like, I was going to sign up, but I'm going to be out of town this one week, or I can't, my kid's got a dance recital on one Friday night, and I have to go. You have to go to that. So, talk to me about those kinds of things. We make adjustments as we need, for sure. And that said, if you go out of town, other boxes do this. So same thing, people contact us during the Open and say, hey, are you guys going to be doing the Open? Can I get judged? And want to come in, and other boxes will do it as well. So if you go out of town and you're like, well, I'm going to be gone from Friday to Monday, how am I going to get my score in? Right. Like, you can contact other boxes and make arrangements to
do it ahead of time, though.
Yeah, ahead of time, for sure. Don't wait until Friday morning. Because anyone who emails me from out of town on a Friday afternoon and says, are you doing the what? I'm like, too late for you. No, I'm not. I'm nicer than that. But just saying.
Yeah, don't wait till Monday night, 2 hours before your flight. Monday morning, 2 hours before your flight.
Yeah,
hey, can I come in real quick?
Let's put a good face on Old City on the public. We're responsible.
Yeah.
But so email, talk to me. I'm always in the gym, you guys. Or email me if you have questions or concerns, and you're still like, I don't really know, or I have this one thing that I'm concerned about. And we'll discuss.
And even if the eventuality comes that you just completely miss one of the Open workouts, it's okay. It's okay if you just miss one, because life happens.
Yeah,
it doesn't invalidate the rest of your scores. You can have 4 scores, and you couldn't do the 4th one because you had to go somewhere with your kids or with your family or something. It's all right. Your other scores are still there. You won't place as high or whatever, relatively, because you don't have a complete score set. But you'll still have. It's about the individual scores and just being there and doing the workout. So don't worry, even if you might think that you might miss one. I'd say if you're going to miss 4 completely, that's different. But if it maybe just one, not a big deal.
Yeah, that's boom. Couldn't have said it better myself. What else? Any other Open stuff to talk about?
Well, I would say if you decide to sign up, you go to crossfit.com/games and follow the appropriate. I mean, I don't know exactly what it is, but you're all smart adults. You can figure it out.
You got to make an account, and then
make an account if you don't have one already.
Click here to sign up for the Open.
I mean, I feel like it's sort of
pretty
straightforward.
And then don't forget to put Old City as where you will do the workouts, because then I just keep checking that Old City page to see who's signed up. So.
Yeah, if you don't attach to the Old City CrossFit team, then we don't know that you're registered.
Yeah, and then there's a little bit of trouble sometimes in validating scores, because that means I have to look you up individually, and don't make my life harder.
Yeah, and then there's a small fee. I think it's $20, and that goes to CrossFit HQ, and they use that to kind of promote the games and CrossFit and everything. So make sure that they run a good event. So that's all. That's it. Anything else to add?
I don't think so.
All right, cool. So yeah, just to recap, sign up for the Open. It starts February 22nd. Workouts get announced on Thursdays at 8 p.m. We run the workouts on Friday in the gym, but we're only going to judge the workouts for the people who are entered into the Open formally on Friday nights at 8 p.m. and then as needed on a case-by-case makeup later in the weekend. And that's it.
Yeah, and if you want to see how some of the more advanced CrossFitters do stuff, there'll usually be a Facebook Live event and a YouTube event. Sometimes those are the same. Sometimes they're two different events, depending on how they decide to do stuff. So you can watch some high-level competitors doing things. That's where the announcements will be. Usually, I think they're doing exclusively through Facebook now, maybe, because it's been on just like on YouTube before. But you'll be able to watch it, and then you can watch them Thursday night if you're at home, and that'll give you a good idea. And then they put out a lot of media material the nights that they drop the workouts. Now they'll have like one or two athletes who have already done it, who will say, hey, you want to think about resting during this time and going hard during this time. So there'll be a lot of people putting out tips, and there's a lot of community out there. If you're in any CrossFit forums, blog community, there everyone's talking about it, so you'll be able to go and communicate with people who you might not even know, but who just want to talk about the workout in general and give their 2 cents on it. And you are allowed to repeat the workout, so if you do it on Friday and maybe you weren't happy with it, there's opportunities to repeat it, but we want to try to get everyone in on that Friday night.
I can guarantee you. You're
probably not.
I will not repeat.
But there will be somebody who will be like, I want to try that one again.
I could have done better.
Yeah.
They're pretty tough. I've never wanted to repeat one within the same weekend personally, because they kick my ass pretty well every single time. So
I don't even want to repeat it when it comes back a year later.
It's like, I did it already.
I felt about that 17-3 one. Didn't I do this last year?
Well.
All right, you guys. So sign up for the Open. Even if you've only been doing CrossFit for a month, sign up for the Open. Sign up for the Open. If you've been doing CrossFit for 10 years, then you know the drill. Sign up for the Open. It's gonna be a ton of fun. Can't wait to see you guys crush it.
Woohoo!
Later, y'all.
That's it.